You have to repost.
So we are going to try this again. Please let us know if we are good. This is actually our first YouTube live. And actually, one of the things you probably talk about is why we have to be on YouTube instead of Facebook like we were before.
Why?
Because Facebook has officially turned off all my live videos, all my streaming for 90 days. First it was 30 days, then it was 60 days, then it was 90 days for practically nothing. And originally, like I know we were just talking about us being in, or me being in DC, but I had those videos up, and once I had those up, they just started flagging my page. Mind you, I've never had my page flagged ever in my life until I went to DC. So having those videos up, they started doing all kinds of stuff, took me off the air, restricted my page for 3 days, restricted my page for 7 days. Luckily, when they did it for 7 days, I was able to come back and challenge it, and they brought my page back up. So thank you, Facebook, for doing that at least. But yeah.
Well, you know what happened to me and Tracy.
Well, yeah, they ripped your whole page down.
Totally censored and taken down 3 days before Election Day.
Which was absolutely crazy.
And everybody else now that's since followed, right? Like Walk Away and everybody else, all the conservatives. Because you know why, right? Conservatives now are terrorists, right? Didn't you hear that? Has anybody called you that?
No, you know, it's
Aren't
so
you bad?
I will tell you this. You know, one of the things that's interesting for me, I don't have a lot of the experiences a lot of conservatives have, right? So I hear stuff all the time like, this one called me a terrorist, or this one is going under my, page and doing this. I don't ever experience those things. I'm not going to sit here and tell you why or try to guesstimate why I don't. But it's just really not something that I actually experience. And I feel like I'm blessed and lucky not to. But I also think it's because, the crowd, the way I grew up, the way I express myself. I mean, I'm not a dumb person. This is just not like me just talking and just saying things just for the heck of saying it, right? And I think, whether they agree with it or not, some people, whether it's family or friends, respect that part of things. I really couldn't sit here and tell you 1,000%, but I do know I don't have all the same experiences as a lot of conservatives.
Well, that's nice. That's good. I'm glad somebody doesn't.
Why? What has happened to you recently?
No, just, I've had thousands and thousands of messages, texts, all different forms. And, you get ridiculed, you get put down, condemned, labeled, and then you have the people who know me, who really know me, support me and lift me back up.
And you have a lot of those people. I've met, you have a very sound group of friends, especially,
thank God,
all your girlfriends and everything like that. They really love you. They really support you. That is something I could say with absolute certainty, that I know.
And I'm a caring, loving person. I believe right from wrong. And I don't understand being labeled like that. I don't understand attacking or hating. I just don't understand it. It's never been part of my thread. It's never been part of me. And it's not my moral compass. So when I see it, I don't know. It hurts me even more because I think it's so sad. And the way I look at it is these people that do that, the people that hate, that have to hate or that have to attack or that have to label or call you names, I think it's all emotion. They drive with their emotion and without thinking what that does, what that actually is doing. And you got to take the emotion out of it. If you don't, you'll be, you do things you shouldn't do, and you act crazy. You really do. You go to that crazy side. And anyway, I'm fine. You know, I'm good. I'm strong.
And you always
I'm a strong
will be.
Italian American. Yeah. So that's it.
And you always will be. I just want to make sure. All right. So it looks like we're back. Our audio is good, and Priscilla, you definitely are a very strong woman, and I think I tell you that at least twice a week, because sometimes you have to be reminded, because I know things just get tough and life happens and things happen. One of the things we were talking about before we got the message that we weren't really being heard too clearly is Priscilla has had a lot of personal stuff going on recently, and she is in our prayers, and we have her and her family in our prayers, and her husband Matt, her two daughters. I love you guys all, and thank you guys for just being the strong individuals you are. And Priscilla, we definitely just wish you and your family well, and you're a strong woman. Your mom's a strong woman. Your husband's a strong man. Your daughters are two strong little girls, man. And every little thing is gonna be all right. I had to throw a little bit of that in there. Every little thing is gonna be all right, baby. Don't let's do a shot to that. Oh, just so you guys know, we had to reboot, right? So you guys know, Priscilla wanted to get us drunk tonight. So she said, let's bring out the scotch. I thought when she said we're going to drink, maybe we'll drink a little red wine.
I'm a scotch drinker.
Yeah, maybe like a little vodka.
Go.
But all right, cheers to 2021 and it being an incredible year.
And peace and love to everybody.
Peace and love.
Even the liberals.
Even the liberals, which we know a lot of. Actually, that could take us into one thing.
They need some peace and love.
Listen, we all need peace and love right now. This country needs peace and love right now. And, this is...
I know. I seem angry tonight. I'm sorry.
It's all good. I know, between the president losing everything you got going on, I felt like, and we said this is like your outlet tonight. Let it go. Let it go.
I'm at peace.
Good.
See, I have a whole different perspective on the president not being in office right now.
Okay.
And I've mentioned it to a few people. I'm at peace with it because I think, let's just say, come on, we know what happened to him when he got in, before he got in, right? He was a laughing joke. The media laughed. Oh, he's not going to get it. Oh, Donald Trump. Oh, blah, 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 blah. I got to watch what I say. Right? Everybody was joking about it. And then all of a sudden, holy cow, guess what? He has a chance. And guess what? He just won. So I think that whole thing, people were in such shock that they came at him instantaneously, right? And really it was before. We didn't know stuff that was happening behind the scenes. But I'm at peace because I think he can have a little break now. I think it made me feel good that he, as a human being, is going to have a break, some peace, because he's been going. You know how little he sleeps, and you know what he does, so how much he's done. So regardless if you liked him, what he was doing or didn't, he's got peace. And I think he's a lot stronger being on the outside now as a citizen. He can be like a George Soros, our George Soros. He's got money, he's got power, he's got time, he's got how many million supporters? He's got a lot. He's got a good family. He's got his wife, beautiful Melania.
Melania.
And I feel like he deserves to have a little break, and I also feel that he's going to be more powerful on the outside.
But he didn't want a break.
And I know, but he deserves a little break. And I just think on the level of just how much he's gone through, I've never seen anything like it, and I hope I don't ever see that again.
So you think it was a good thing that he lost because he needs the break?
I'm not saying that I think it's a good thing that he lost. I'm saying I'm at peace with it.
Okay.
That he's not in.
That's why I wanted to be clear.
Right now.
That's why I wanted to be clear. That's why I wanted to be clear.
Okay. I care about my country, regardless of what people have told me in the last 2 weeks. But, yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. What do you think about the proposed, some reports are saying about a third party, the Patriot Party? What are your thoughts?
I don't know. That's a tough one for me right now. I have to think about that deeply because I'm very disappointed in the GOP. I think they've made so many mistakes, and there's so many rhinos that are just out for themselves. You don't know who to trust anymore, and I think that's really in both parties. Really, I think it's so thrown up in the air and mixed up that it's really hard to see. And it sounds great to have a new party. I think that's excellent because I think there's people who feel totally disenfranchised with both and don't agree on everything, but they can come together on several things and maybe join in that party. But I also don't want that to hurt any candidate going forward. If we get a good GOP candidate, then that I like personally, the third party might hurt them. I mean, we've seen that in the past with Perot and different candidates and different parties, Green Party, whatever, just taking away from the win. And then we also have to deal with the voting, the irregularities and stuff, and whatever with all of that. So anyway, I don't know, a third party, pros and cons.
So obviously, it's very interesting because, and I know we didn't get to this actual subject yet, but obviously, that when we got back from DC, I started a new group called the New American Party. And a lot of people have been asking me a lot of questions. One of the things I'm very proud of is in less than 2 weeks, we are now up to 13,000 members in that Facebook group. So I want to thank you all, first of all. I mean, I was just like, amazing. I sat here and watched Priscilla do it before with New Jersey Women for Trump, which was on a bigger scale. When it went down twice. Excuse me. Yeah, that's the Scotch talking some good stuff. But I'm very proud of that. It's just I put it up one day, and I want to say thank you, Patriots. I know who my base is. I'm not gonna lie, and we're gonna talk about a lot of stuff tonight, which will give you an idea why I even say that. But I know my base is Trump supporters, independents, and I love you guys and girls. And the way, when I put that group up, you guys started messaging me, calling me. I'm inviting 100 people. I'm inviting 50 people. And literally in the first 3 days, we were up to 5,000 people. You guys are simply amazing. I also want you to know, and this is in relation to what Priscilla was just talking about, because I've been asked a question, what are you looking to do? Are you looking to start a third party? There's a lot of people out there that think if somebody starts an actual third party, it can split the Republican vote. And just so you know, I'm of the same mindset. I think a standalone third party, especially right now, I'm not saying it can't ever happen, but right now would do nothing but split the Republican vote, and you'd probably never see a Republican win in certain places again, because if you're splitting the vote and Democrats are still organizing together, naturally, just thinking about the actual numbers, the factuality of everything, we wouldn't be able to win another election. So I do want people to know one thing as far as the American Party, and we are in our infancy stages, and there's a lot to still discover, to work out, and things like that. And we're building a great team that will be able to help us do just that. But I model this New American Party right now in these stages more as a tea party of sorts, more as an awakening, and not just to Republicans. This is to independents, and this is to Democrats as well, because we don't mind co-opting any party. If you have our values, if you stand for certain things like term limits, criminal justice reform, school choice, lower taxes, religious freedom. I like Ted. That's my guy right there. He's been saying it for a long time. That's why I bring him up. Absolutely. And
he's been saying it longer than everybody else.
You stand for those things. there's a possibility we can get behind you. And now we are a registered 527 political party, which means we can legally donate to campaigns. We can legally cover the expenses of some campaigns as we organize and decide to do those things. But I want to make it very clear, I am not looking to split the Republican Party. I am a registered Republican as myself. But again, I'm looking to model it more as after the Tea Party right now, who I think set the groundwork for what we can do as far as forcing this two-party system to start doing things that the American people actually want them to do. And all you have to look at is what Joe Biden did in his first 2 days in office. I mean, between the caravan of illegal immigrants that are on their way up here to making it okay for men to basically go in the women's bathroom, you know, based on this whole gender identity thing and everything like that, canceling the Keystone Pipeline, basically canceling tens of thousands of jobs, rejoining the Paris Climate Accord. These things were done, a lot of them done in haste, and Americans don't want that. We understand that we have a president every 4 years and some things are going to change. But with all the division we have right now, with the way our politicians really feel like they can just talk down to the American people, because that's what I really watched over the last 2, 3, 4 years. It hasn't just been Trump that they've been jumping on. They're actually talking down to the American people like we don't matter anymore. You know what? To a lot of these politicians, we don't, because they are career politicians, which is why people like myself, Ted Cruz, advocate for term limits to start taking this power away from these people and forcing them to actually do their jobs, knowing that they won't be able to stay there for 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years. So we have a lot of work to do, but I definitely want to begin to use the New American Party, groups like New Jersey Women for Trump, to do what we've always wanted to do, and that's to continue to organize, continue to let our voices be heard, and continue to shape our future and our politics going forward. And I think with these different groups, we can definitely do that without splitting the party, without, just outright attacking Republicans, but also just letting them know that, listen, we're a part of your party, we're registered in your party, but at the same time, it's time for this party to change a little bit and to bring some new eyes in here, some new people in here to really get the party going in a new direction.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I'm kind of like on, the sideline here with that. So I just don't know, totally where to go with that yet.
Yeah.
And I'm still back into the dealing with Washington. Coming back, dealing with family stuff and dealing with the hate that's happening right now in our country. The real divide. We are completely divided. And that's where I'm thinking, that's where I'm at. I'm trying to think, how can we change this up? And also discussing the voting. And, just because the left thinks, or certain people think, that there were no irregularities, and God forbid if you say there were irregularities, or you even feel or hint that maybe there was some issues with it, or that it was stolen from you, from the right, or from Trump, whatever, you're condemned, you're put down. Nobody can have an opinion anymore. And some of these issues, the hate, the not being able to communicate rationally, not being able to bring up subjects, not being able to talk to your fellow American about it without being condemned, without being put down, those things are a concern, are a big concern of mine. And I want to think about that. And I also want to figure that out as best as we can. And at least, like with the group, with New Jersey Women for Trump, we basically were, Tracy and I started this, we were basically a support group. That's really what we were, because our voices were silenced. This started happening to us years ago. And when we were, people didn't know where to go or felt comfortable about talking to anybody. And it was getting to be a very lonely place. So it was almost like our safe place, right?
I could see that for sure.
Right?
Yep.
All the kids had to have their safe zones or their safe spots or whatever. Well, that's what New Jersey Women for Trump was too, and still is. So we supported people. We have we have an amazing group of women who help. I love all you guys. Tracy and I are so fond of everybody. We've grown, and built relationships with people. We've gotten close to people, and that's what's important, and that's what needs to be broadened. And different groups have tried to do it, but now we're being shut down, and it's a shame. It's a shame to be silenced, and that's a concern of mine. But also, I just don't know about the parties. I don't want to go there yet, but I totally support you, and I see what you're doing.
You better.
Of course.
Girl,
I see what
you
you're
got
doing.
no choice.
I just, yes, I do.
You got no choice.
No, I got plenty of
Don't
choice.
let her fool you. She got
No.
no choice.
I'm my own person.
No choice. Go ahead.
Okay. But, shut up. But anyway, that's where I'm going. So,
wait, you were supposed to continue.
Group,
You said you're supporting me. What were you saying? Keep going. I wanted to, you support me.
I'm supporting you, but that's not my main focus. My main focus is to continue with New Jersey Women for Trump and NJWT, because we have two, and work with an amazing partner, Tracy, and all the other women who help us and moderators. I don't want to name names on live, but everybody who has helped us and all of the supporters, because they're true Americans who care. And trust me, not everybody agrees on the same topics. It's all a big melting pot. It's all different. Everybody has different things. And I sit and navigate, and Tracy, we navigate, when people start fighting and stuff, because they have differences. But the point is, you can have a communication, you can communicate and have differences. When I put it on my personal Facebook page, anything that we're discussing, holy cow, it's another world. And I've made it a point, and this is important to me. I've made it a point to not block or reject or cancel or delete any of my friends. Anybody that because if you're my friend because we either believe in certain things together, we went to school together, we're family, we're very close. And I have several Democrats, I have several liberals, I have several independents, and I have a ton of supporters, right? I have a ton of people on the right. So, and all different degrees of the right. So my point is, I chose to never, ever just block somebody, censor somebody just because I don't like their point of view. And I get heat, man. I get people jumping on, saying stuff, and just being how I wouldn't be.
Yeah.
And it's hard because I don't want that. I don't want my friends then to start countering. And who has the time for this stuff? Who has the time for the tit for tat and going up against because we feel differently about it?
Well, you know me. If you get disrespectful, I'll throw you right out.
And most people are like that.
Yeah.
And I'm a masochist because I've made it a point to try to be respectful and try to be fair and try to not. I believe in freedom of speech.
Yeah.
Isn't it really, that's what it's about?
Well, luckily.
Isn't that the bottom line?
Absolutely. And luckily, I haven't had to do that to too many people. But yeah, there has been a couple of instances. But, 90% of the time, I'm definitely like you. Like I got, some of my boys that I know don't agree with my politics at all. And they'll get on my posts and comment. As long as everybody's respectful, we can go back and forth. I'm always willing to have an intelligent conversation. It's when people get hypocritical and different things. And like I've told a lot of people, I think, especially the left right now, the hypocrisy is going to be the death of some people, to be honest with you. Just like some of this stuff going on. I mean,
that's the problem, the
honestly,
hypocrisy.
it really, I've never seen it so blatant, like it is right now. Like Joe Biden putting out the mask mandate in all federal buildings and then, basically coming out to his first presser or whatever without a mask. Just people levying certain things on somebody like Trump and judging him for the certain things that they do, but then knowing that, they're not a perfect individual, themselves. Already took care of that. They're not a perfect individual themselves. So, the hypocrisy is just something that I think every day, normal Americans no longer want to deal with. And I'll be honest with you, that was part of the reason why I created the American Party, which is something I wanted to do for a long time, something I've been thinking about. And so, in that group, there are liberals, there are Republicans, there are independents. And when it comes to posting stuff, we let everybody go through. I'll let a Democrat post up something that may be against conservatives, as long as it's respectful, there's no cursing and stuff like that. Just like I'll let a Trump supporter or a Republican post up something that's against Democrats. That's how we do now, because at the end of the day, the majority of the people you see, people like myself, Priscilla, we didn't grow up in the world that the media tries to create, where there's all this racial division and racial angst. Of course, we know it exists, but the average person did not go through that throughout their life, especially in this country. In fact, me, myself, I never, ever dealt with racism in this country till, probably pretty recently in my life. And that was with brown people, not even with white people, to be honest with you. And, I'm all American from New Jersey, born and raised, never left, and never dealt with racism, not blatant racism to my face like that. So I wanted to create a place where not only Trump supporters and Republicans could come, independents, Democrats. And one of the things I've been telling people, one of the things I really like that I see so far, and again, we have a lot of organization to do, guys. It's still early. We're in our infant stages right now. It's just, a group. We're sharing our thoughts. You'll see me put up polls sometimes, but in the background, we are organizing the actual party. We have some other stuff going on, which we'll talk about. But one of the things I like that I'm seeing, which I did not see before this, is within that group, you have Trumpers actually backing down Trumpers, or should I say Trumpers backing down Q Trumpers, right? Because we don't let and I don't want to say fake news, we call it unverified news, right? Because Facebook is really after us right now. As I explained before, I've never, ever been restricted on Facebook before, but when we came back from DC, I've been restricted 3 times now, threatened to have my group disabled already, threatened to have my entire personal Facebook page taken away, and all of my channels, all of the pages that I have. So my Darius Mayfield public page, Not Black, Not White American podcast, Blue Valor with Val VS, Right Hook podcast with Steve Hook. I cannot go live on any of those pages for 90 days. And it started out at 30, and then it just kept hitting me. For 90 days, I cannot go live, do nothing on any of those pages, which is in part why we came over here to YouTube. So thank you guys starting to subscribe the last couple of days as we kind of been promoting it. We appreciate you guys. It's a little bit easier to kind of come over here to YouTube. It's a little bit more interactive for you guys as we get going and start doing more shows on here. We're going to bring Val VS, her show on YouTube eventually as well as Right Hook podcast with Steve Hook. I spoke to both of them this week. We're going to be revamping those shows all next week. And just so how you guys know, the way it's going to go going forward is this, and I'm very proud to announce that both Val and Steve's show are on Apple iTunes and Spotify as well. So every Sunday, all 3 of these shows will premiere. Blue Valor with Val will be on at 6 p.m. on Sundays. Right Hook podcast with Steve Hook will be at 7 p.m. on Sundays. And then you'll have me and Priscilla at 8 p.m. on Sundays for Not Black, Not White American podcast. And these will all be audio shows. So you'll be able to listen, whether it's on our website at notblacknotwhiteamerican.com, Spotify, Amazon, iTunes. They'll all be available there. So again, Blue Valor at Val VS at 6 o'clock on Sundays. Right Hook podcast with Steve Hook, 7 o'clock on Sundays, and then myself and Priscilla, our audio will be available on all platforms at 8 p.m. every Sunday going forward, starting next Sunday. And you'll be able to catch this episode of our show this Sunday at 8 o'clock on all those channels.
You done?
I mean, I can keep going. I could definitely keep going. It's been a
while.
while. It's been a while.
I'm teasing you. So, anyway, going back to, that's great. All that's fantastic. But going back to, I guess they kind of missed the whole beginning of the show, right?
Kind of.
Yeah.
I think we kind of revisited what was kind of going on with you when we came back on.
That's fine.
We did talk about the Capitol before.
Well, and I want to get into that again because I really want to.
Let's talk about the Capitol.
Okay, so I completely denounce these idiots that went into the Capitol, that broke windows, that did everything that they did in there. I denounce all the violence. I denounce anything. I think it made the president look terrible. I think it made everybody look terrible, and it made America look terrible. And I think they should all be charged, and I think that's happening, but I denounce it, and I don't associate with it, and I think it's just a terrible thing. What it did was it undid all the work that any of the patriots who were putting up the evidence, finding the evidence, investigating any irregularities that they felt there were. It stopped all of that. It just stopped it in the tracks. They were supposed to hear it, and that's what people were there for, to hear what was going to happen, what was going on.
Yeah.
And you know what? These idiots, they shut it down. And the problem is that I see now, so now, having looked into it, having seen different videos, having spoken to certain people, I look at it like, why would the majority of Trump supporters there go and do something like this to undo everything that they've been fighting for the last few weeks since the election, what they wanted to have put out there? It's counterproductive, right? It's counterintuitive. It ruined it. So, then you take it a step further. Who are these people that broke in? Who are these people that did this? And there are reports that there were some Antifa people, and there are reports.
There was. They arrested one of them.
Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor, she said that there were. She was inside. Different people told me that they saw different things, and then I saw footage on it, and I believe it.
So you want to really get into it?
Once you see it. But my point is, I denounce the violence. I denounce it, and I know ex-President Trump. If that would, you don't even call him ex-president. He's
Mr.
45, Mr. President. Whatever the proper thing to say is, 45. He didn't. One thing I know for sure is he didn't want that, and he didn't push it. Regardless of what people are saying, that he pushed it and he incited it and all of that. My feeling is the media has a big part in it. And also social media has a big part in it. And you were talking, Darius, a while ago, or just before, about in the past, we didn't have this division the way it is today.
No.
The hate and all that.
No. It's been manufactured.
And you know why? We didn't have social media then.
It's been manufactured.
We didn't have social media then. We didn't have any. Our media was different. You had to be held accountable. You had to have sources. Yeah, it was much more dignified. It was different. Now anything goes. You can lie and then see what sticks on the wall, and then come back and then say, we have to pull that story, but nobody sees that part.
Yeah,
it's different.
Yeah.
But the social media, and we can all agree, my God, it's changed. It's changed the way we see things, the way we communicate with each other, everything. And I feel they hold more to blame than anybody. That's my opinion. But I do denounce the violence and the law breaking and the disgusting behavior.
Pretty much everything you said. I mean, you know how I feel. I was one of the ones that actually went to the Capitol, so I guess we can get into it a little bit. I was there at the Capitol. I was there in D.C. Started my day off at the president's rally speech down the road from the Capitol, and it was an amazing experience. We got to get up close in person. That was one of the trip from Georgia to D.C., it was probably one of the greatest times of my life. VIP everywhere, from front row at the Georgia rally, seeing the president speak, to right there in the VIP
Which
section.
was last minute. We didn't even know we were doing
It's
that.
awesome. And being in VIP for his speech in D.C., and then leaving afterwards with my girls Jazz and Karen, and leaving there, going to get some food, and going back to the hotel after the speech. We actually left like maybe 10, 15 minutes early because it was so cold out. And I seen Karen over there shaking. I'm like, let's just go back to the hotel. Let's go chill, and we'll come back out later. So we get to the hotel after we get food. And I guess the funny thing is, and you know this, when you're down there, there's so many people, and whatever it is, whether they're blocking it or not, you can't really use your phones, right? You don't get any messages, you don't get anything. You can't go live, you can't do anything. So when we got back to the hotel, that's when our phones like started going crazy. Ping, 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 ping. Everything starts coming up. So Karen turns to me and she goes, listen, they just said, somebody just told me that there's a bunch of skinheads and white supremacists at the Capitol, and they just stormed the Capitol. I looked at her, I looked at Jazz, I said, let's go. Let's go up there.
Because
right?
we're doing a podcast,
honestly,
too, and you need to have footage.
Well,
your media.
Forget that. The reason why is because every time something happens, right, the media is able to basically make your mind determine what you think is actually happening, right? They paint the picture. They propagate people. So I wanted to go up there for myself, a place where most people, a lot of these people, especially on the left that have so much to say, wouldn't even go. They wouldn't even go to Trump rallies, whether they support him or not, just because of a fear inside of them. Whether, you know, it's a black person like me that's just scared to be around that type of crowd and they think something's gonna happen, or to go to something like that because they're scared there's really an insurrection and things are going crazy. There is no fear when we're doing these things, man, especially like she said, when we're going out to capture video and do certain things. I'm just, you know, being an American, I really take that to heart. I really feel like I am one of the most blessed individuals in the world to be from this country, to have the opportunities that I have and be able to do the things that I do. I never take that for granted. This country. Never take that for granted. So I just do, honestly. And so after we started getting those pings, I'm like, listen, let's go. We went up there. First of all, let me tell you, I've never been tear gassed in my life and never thought that would happen to me in the United States of America, but I did get tear gassed while I was up there. We actually got up there and we start going up the stairs and everything. We start seeing some patriots from New Jersey, start seeing some people we know, so that was pretty cool. And I got to tell you, one, I think a lot of that insurrection stuff, although when we did get up there and we're going up the stairs, I did see a bunch of people trying to break into a window, but, you know, we just kind of seen it kind of fast and we were just like, that's not us, so we just kind of left it alone. But other than that, it was a lot of patriots up there singing, praying, waving flags, right? And this speaks to what you were just talking about. And people really, this comes with getting back to some type of normalcy, having some type of critical thinking element to our brains at the end of the day, right? I see a lot of people out there being called terrorists. Again, as I said before in the other video,
everybody's blanketed.
Everybody's just terrorists.
Now,
like that's the new word.
The Capitol,
right?
All conservatives and all
terrorists.
Trump supporters are terrorists. Labeled.
It's terrorists.
That's honestly what I've been called.
And I was telling her on the last video, I think I'm so blessed and fortunate because I don't deal with a lot of these things, whatever the reason is. But I do know a lot of my supporters. I do know a lot of people. Like, for instance, a woman DM'd me a couple of days ago and just said, Darius, I've been crying all day because of what happened to the president, because they're labeling me this, they're labeling me that. And I just gave her words of encouragement. I said, listen, don't do that. And basically explained to her what I'm about to explain to you. And at the end, she was just like, I'm going to read your words back. And I promise you tomorrow I won't be crying. I loved it. That really touched my heart because there's a lot of people out there that are really, you know, feel some kind of way and are being, you know, getting depressed behind a lot of this, what's going on, right? So for me, to hear people saying that, right? One, common sense just comes to my mind right now, where, especially if you're a supporter or even a follower or just a family or friend of mine, right? You see me go live a lot. You see me go to Trump rallies now. You see me go back in November to the rally. They had a rally in December. I've been to the Wildwood rally, went to the Georgia rally. Never been any violence. Never dealt with any racism, never felt like my life was in danger. I felt nothing but love, and just, you know, people genuinely just wanting to have a good time and just, you know, be there to support the president, support this country, and support their beliefs. So for people, and this is how you can tell we just live in such a hypocritical world that people really don't think too hard in anymore. All it would take is, if you really want to have something to say and you really think you follow me, all you have to do is look at the other videos that I've put up, right? There's never been any violence. There's never been any Trump supporters trying to storm somebody or beat them up. So one that was trying to be unbiased and fair would probably think to themselves first, before I go around blanketing people as terrorists, why don't we actually see what was going on? Because I know somebody, let's say like a Darius, or I know you weren't there, but let's say like a Darius that is a pretty reasonable guy. And I know he's not a terrorist. I know he loves this country. I know he's very nationalistic, but I know he's not a terrorist. And more than likely, he probably wouldn't have gone in that building. And as I said, the good thing for me is I was on live, I was recording, and you clearly see me on the video saying, as she just said, we do not support the people that are going in there. I'm just up here, defending and exercising my First Amendment right, as we've done, as I just did 2 months earlier at the Trump rally, as I just did in Trenton a month ago with the Patriots out there, protesting the actual vote, as I've done in Wildwood and other places. So this is just normal stuff, right? I wouldn't have looked at one of my liberal family members or friends and just been like, they're a terrorist because they went up to a Joe Biden rally and Antifa end up coming in, burning stuff down. I would have probably talked to that person and been like, listen, you weren't involved in that, right? Right? But we just lost a lot of critical thinking. So I just want to say to especially the Patriots out there, this is not going to be the end. You're going to see more hypocrisy. You're going to see more evilness. You're going to see more hate. And listen, to be frank with you, it happens on the other side sometimes too, especially now that Joe Biden's been sworn in as the president of the United States. People on the left, their chest is out a little bit, right? They're happy. They feel like they've won, right? And it's just naturally going to happen. So don't let what's already going to happen affect you to the point where it affects your state of mind. It affects your life, and it affects those things. You have people you can reach out to. All of you guys know you can DM me anytime. You can DM her anytime. You can talk to us. We are regular people. And as we move forward, and I'm going to let Priscilla, because I know she probably has a lot to say, but as we move forward, just understand, everything we do is out of normalcy and us being regular people, because we're going to talk about more later in this show, and hopefully we continue to drive that point home.
Don't cry.
We should do a shot.
Don't cry. Don't cry. If anybody's going to cry, don't cry. Come on. Do you remember what the other side looked like when they cried? Oh, my God. Don't cry. This is the way it is. This is unfortunate. The circumstances, the way things pan out, we got a lot of work to do. And I don't mean for right or for left. I mean for the country. We all need to really figure out a way to be more respectful to each other, to have more dialogue and communicate. And we're so far beyond that, I think, right now. That's what concerns me the most. I just can't even say it enough that the hate is all about people who cannot control their emotions. They're so emotional with it that. And the media and social media now, right? We didn't even realize social media was going to have such a big impact, even more than the media. Last month, guess what? Or last couple months, they really have. They've shown their true colors. You see it.
See it right on my page.
You see it. I was shut.
Where they shut Tracy her group down.
Come on.
You have two examples right here of how censorship
before
is taken
the election,
over.
we were shut down. My point is that, if you're going to continue to hate and call each other names and put us in boxes and blanket blame, right? Yep. Blanket blame across the board, not look at anything good, be the, pessimistic personality, have just this pessimistic personality. Oh my God, what are we going to do if that's the way it's going to continue to go? And the media's to blame because they have a narrative. They don't care about the people. They're making their money. They're doing their programming. They have their agenda. It's crazy. It's just crazy to me. And so many people buy into, because CNN said it. Oh, because the New York Times said it. How can you believe anything anymore? How do you believe anything anymore? And then take social media. So everybody's jumping on Parler, jumping on this, jumping on that. There's how many different more social media networks,
well,
groups,
just so you know,
platforms coming out.
Just so you know, the New American Party is on Facebook, MeWe, and Clout Hub.
But there's all these out now, right?
Yes. It's a lot.
But all this information we're getting, so much of it is untrue.
I agree.
And it's making people crazy. It's making people crazy.
We got to talk about that, Priscilla, because in the New American Party, and we were talking about this before, right? And I know you guys already do this. We don't like to call it fake news right now because, again, I think we talked about this before we had to start over here, but I recognize who my base is, right? My base is Trump supporters and independents. And I don't like to call it fake news right now, but we call a lot of it unverified news. Because there's just some things. People have to be a little bit more resilient and smart in the way they siphon through their information. Listen, if you're sharing a post from a site that was just created 2 months ago, right? You might want to check some other sites before you actually post that information,
Of
right?
course.
I see a lot of people posting from sites I've never heard of. It's just literally people just making sites and post them. And somebody could say that to us, right? We got a podcast here. We started a site. Here's the difference. We're not claiming to be professors, know-it-all. We're giving you our opinions of how we feel, what we think, and the things that we're actually going through. I'm not going to sit here and tell you something is actual fact because it's actual fact because I'm a professor and I tell you it's actual fact. That's not what we're here to do. We're here to give you our opinion, have an intelligent dialogue with you guys, and try to figure out things with you guys. That comes with being regular people. That comes with coming back to normalcy, just being normal. And I can tell you right now, what we see from our elected officials, and I can't wait for us to record next week and the week after, because we're going to keep hammering this, because what I see from our elected officials is not representative of the people. The hypocrisy is not representative of the people, and the way that our politicians just talk down about Americans nowadays, whether it's calling them deplorables.
How about Maxine Waters? Maxine Waters, Congresswoman, right? Congresswoman.
Wait, can we do a cheers before we talk about her?
Maxine, and it's not to her.
Yes.
But I'll say prayers for her.
To win in future elections.
Tolerance. Okay.
Tell us about Maxine.
Maxine, what did she say?
She said follow them around in their grocery stores when they're out eating with their families, everything. And I put that post up.
Them. You get in their face.
And now Trump is the one who. And Trump incited violence, right? You got Nancy Pelosi telling us, I would have burnt it down, but Trump is inciting violence.
What are you going to say about that?
It's hypocrisy.
What are you going to say about that?
Hypocrisy.
And you know who I'm talking to. You know who I'm talking to. What are you going to say about that? How can you turn a blind eye to that?
To regular people, you guys just look weird. To regular people, you look weird. We literally, it's like the argument with Black Lives Matter and Antifa, right? Everybody's going crazy, and we've, just before we start, because I know we have to be explicit with people nowadays, 5 minutes ago, we just said we do not support the people that went into the Capitol at all. Let's just make that disclaimer. I should put it on the thing, because you know somebody's going to be like, oh my God, the terrorists!
Wear shirts and everything.
Listen, we do not support that at all.
It's sick. From any side.
Especially from the left, what you guys need to do is you have to stop and slow down a little bit, because we all just sat here for the last 9, 10, 11 months and watched Antifa and watch BLM burn black neighborhoods down.
And other groups.
Burn down D.C. after Trump's inauguration. So Joe Biden needed 30,000 soldiers to protect 20,000 flags. No people came. Remember, they told us that all these people were going to come to every 50 capitals. Well, guess what? In Michigan, I think like 40 to 50 people showed up. They were going to show up at every capital in the country, but in Michigan, you had like 40, 50 people show up in an open carry state where they openly do that pretty much every month because they're allowed to, and it's an open carry state. And they made this big deal. And we watched Antifa and BLM after Trump got inaugurated basically burn Washington, D.C. to the point that every time we went to a rally over all over, but I'm talking about because of the inauguration, specifically in Washington, D.C., because they made a specific point to put 20,000.
Trump's inauguration.
Yes, Trump's inauguration. After his inauguration, they had the Million Woman March.
They blew up cars.
And then that's when they blew up cars. Police cars. Yep. They broke the windows. The Bank of America marched down the street burning things.
The Veterans Building.
This is the crazy thing. So much so to that 9-10 months later, when we started going to rallies and different things in D.C., all the businesses were boarded up because of what Antifa and BLM did. Not because of what Trump supporters did, because before the 6th, Trump supporters had never done anything like that.
And the point is, it's not a tit for tat. I'm so sick of it. It's not what we did, what you did. I'm so done with it. We're all Americans here. You're living here. You're paying taxes.
Yeah.
You're going to die here. We're all Americans, all right? We live free. We love our country.
That we do.
You can't be hypocritical. You can't be blind to what one side did or the other side didn't do or this or that. I mean, give me a break. You know, really.
I agree.
It's so ridiculous. And we're all fools because we're controlled by the media and we're controlled by social media. And we need them because how else do you get your message out there? Just like President Trump. How else was he going to get any information out there? They were on top of him from day one before he even got in, right?
Well, you make up a really good point. President Trump, think about this. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube took the President of the United States off their platforms. If they will do that to him, don't ever be so full of yourself that you don't think something like that or something worse is going to happen to you if you do the wrong thing. That's crazy.
And it doesn't mean you're doing the wrong thing.
Exactly. If you just do anything that they don't like. Exactly. Great point.
They're in control.
Absolutely.
And that's the scary part. And that's the politicians let them have too much power because here's the deal. I keep them separate, right? Social media is one. You know, big tech, social media, they're one. The regular media is another. They don't have the same rules, right? The social media is not media. That's why they get money from the government. Media doesn't. They have a different set of rules. They have to be vetted. You know, they have different rules that they have to follow, right? We all know this. So our politicians have totally failed on both sides because they've allowed.
Big surprise.
They've allowed social media and, you know, the Mark Zuckerberg's, Twitter, what's his name? Jack Dorsey, all these guys, they got more power than the media now. They're in control and they've got it going on. And that's the biggest sin in my eyes. That is just where we missed the boat.
So I got to ask you something, Priscilla. So knowing that, because I know you're a smart woman and you understand those things, how could you not understand the frustration so much that people are ready to start their own parties?
I understand that.
That's why.
But I don't know if it's going to make a difference.
If we do it right, it can. Again, it's not about splitting the party, and I want to make that very clear.
You say that, but it could. Right? It could.
It's only, you know how it could?
Detriment instead of.
It only could.
I'm seeing both. And
that's what I was going to say. Absolutely.
It needs more thought. You know, you need to think.
But there are, and what she said is absolutely right. There are people and groups out there that absolutely, undoubtedly want to split the party and want to take Republican voters away from Republicans and put them into their group. That is not our objective at the New American Party, I assure you. Okay. But absolutely, there are people out there gunning for that.
And take a step back. And this is where I say emotion comes into it. People feed off emotion and they run with it and they shoot from the hip. Mm-hmm. So they get pissed. We're going to come in we're going to do this. We're going to split the Republican Party. You know, you got to think this stuff through. You got to be smart.
Well, here's the problem, though.
You got to be calm.
You're right.
And you got to take the emotion out of it. Because if you don't, you're driven you're driven by emotion, and it's the wrong thing. It's gonna sabotage.
I agree.
Your goal.
And you're 1,000% right on that. And here's the thing with that.
There's got to be a way to do it right.
And that's why I'm so proud of what we're doing with this group, because we're actually addressing things like that. Over the last 4 years, there's been a lot of people that have been emotional, and they're just allowed to be that way, right? Within our group, we stamp that out. We try to explain to them why it is not good to be that way. Because all I see on social media right now from conservatives is drop Facebook, drop Twitter, go to MeWe, we were on Parler, go to Clout Hub, right? We shouldn't be on these platforms at all. We stumped that out too. Just so you know, my personal humble opinion, that is the wrong approach. When I see people saying those things, it reminds me of the big bully that bullied a kid so bad that they just ran and just went into seclusion. And we all know what happens with those. And I know there's going to be a generalization, but with people like that, we all know what's happened. They've turned into, those kids that have shot up schools, or turned into a kid that maybe committed suicide or just went into a deep depression. Those are the types of things that happen when you seclude yourself like that and you just retreat. This is not the time to retreat. Facebook is still a platform that has plenty of conservatives on it, plenty of liberals on it. And I'll be honest with you. Exactly. And I keep saying that to people. And the only way it's really going to make a difference is if you were able to take 150, 200 million people at one time and take them off the platform. That's not going to happen. Everybody's lives are interconnected on these social media sites, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Twitter, especially Facebook, and especially for that older generation. Their families are on there, their nieces, their nephews, their moms, their dads. They have so many memories on that. So like she just said, be smarter and be tougher. When I see people complaining about that and getting to that point, now I understand it from some people. It is what it is. You got to go through the process. You'll get over it. But there's just some people that say things to me and I see the way they're acting. I'm just like, put your big girl or your big boy, boxers on and pull yourself up out of bootstrap, because we have work to do, man. We have work to do. Like, you can't, this is for New Jersey specifically. New Jersey, we have a gubernatorial race this year in this state. Yes. I've just sat here and watched for the last year, 2 years, everybody complain about Phil Murphy, all the stuff he's doing, all the mandates, all the businesses he's shutting down. So basically what some of you guys are telling me is, even though you were complaining about all that, you're ready to just pack up, go home, go on a site where nobody knows anybody over there, and really not do the work to try to make a difference and get this guy out of office in that case. It's the wrong move. It's not a smart move. Be tough, be smart, join New Jersey Women for Trump, join the New American Party, join Not Black, Not White American, and we will keep pushing forward and fighting for the everyday man, woman, and child, and try to take our country back. I assure you.
And it's not taking it back from the left or the right.
No.
It's taking it back from
the politicians, the career politicians
who have made tons of money off of all of us. And so many other bad individuals that don't care about this country.
Tons of money making $170,000 a year, and now they're like worth $100 million. Where they do that at? How'd that even happen? You make $170,000 a year, but now you're worth $100 million. How'd that happen?
It's greed.
How'd that happen?
It's greed.
Oh, you weren't getting stock tips, right?
And once you get to DC, that's why they called it the swamp. And if you don't like President Trump, or you didn't like the 45, you didn't like him, fine. But one thing he did do was expose in a larger capacity, in a bigger, more visible, this swamp on both sides,
And that's probably his greatest achievement. Even though the media didn't let you realize it or see it that way, we all understand what this guy exposed. There's still stuff going around now, and I probably shouldn't say this, honestly, but I'm going to. You know how I do. I saw something so disturbing last week that thankfully that person was smart enough to send it to me in a DM on Facebook, because you put this stuff up on Facebook, you will get flagged and kicked off it. But I seen a picture of Joe Biden's son, I won't say his name, with some very, very crazy compromising positions that he put himself in. And the fact that while President Trump was running for re-election, they told us there was nothing to see there. And then once they announced that he lost, all of a sudden the FBI was investigating this guy. It's just sickening, hypocritical, and it's just the stuff that we're talking about and people are tired of. And no, I'm not going to say what the picture was. I'm sure you know, but it was just so disturbing. And these are real pictures. This is not fake. Notice one thing. Of all the Hunter Biden information that came out when they were running the campaign, not once did one news organization ever say the information was fake. That never happened. They said, we shouldn't be talking about this right now. It's unverified. This was hacked. That was the main thing they said. It was hacked, which basically they're telling you it's real, but we're not going to put it up because somebody hacked and got this information. So they told you it was real. We know this stuff is real, but yet we're still sitting here, especially on the left, being the hypocritical people we are, calling this one and that one a terrorist, when you're literally supporting pedophiles and stuff. I mean, honestly.
Okay, but I want to go back to something. I want to go back to the election. Okay?
Maybe.
When Trump got in and won in 2016, what was the narrative?
He's a racist.
Well, that was not quite yet. A little bit.
Oh, they were saying that.
They were, right, but it wasn't to the degree that it
so what was the narrative?
Russia.
Oh, okay. Yeah, of course.
Russia. Right?
Yeah, and they had videotapes of him in
and
Russia.
What? But what about Russia?
That he was a stooge for them. They had compromising information on him and basically were controlling him.
And how did he win?
Russia.
So Russia
interfered.
Question.
So why didn't they help him this
time?
time?
In the 2016 election.
Why didn't they help him this time?
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Hello?
Why didn't they help him this time?
Where's Russia? What happened? We had an investigation. We had Robert Mueller go for it. In fact, that's how Trump won. Don't you remember?
Russia.
Trump won because Russia interfered in the election. And we had this big thing about it, this big investigation about it. It went to the House, and we had Robert Mueller investigating it for 2.5 years for his presidency.
Russia.
So what happened, Russia?
What happened? Why didn't you help Trump this time? We're mad at you. Actually, Priscilla, did you see the thing today? Russia and China actually praised Joe Biden. They're actually very happy about Joe Biden's presidency.
But wait,
why would they be happy?
With that. I have more on that.
Go ahead.
So what happened, Russia? Where'd you go? What? Okay, so now come to 2020, and the right says, "Wait a minute, my vote didn't count. Wait a minute, I went to go vote, and they told me that the polling station was closed, or the poll watchers couldn't watch, or whatever. All the different irregularities that were discussed. Okay." Not going to say if they did or didn't. I'm just saying that were discussed. So then you have Giuliani jumping in and Sidney Powell jumping in, and they want to find out the truth. And we talked about it because we said we just want integrity in our election process, right? That's a bad thing to say. But we just wanted integrity. If it's right, if there's real information, if it really happened, if there's, bad fraudulent voters, if more people voted than are registered in certain states, okay, we need to look into this because it's not fair to anybody. Yeah. It's not fair to any candidate, anybody. All right? So how come we are ridiculed, or anybody who even wants to look into that was ridiculed for it, when that's what they argued in 2016, that it wasn't fair because Russia, he didn't win it the right way. Russia interfered. And it's just more hypocritical crap. But what happened, Russia? What happened?
Well, you know what it is? A lot of it is, a lot of people.
Makes me crazy.
A lot of people, and I'm one of them, I just feel like blessed that I have a brain, and critical thinking. To be able to get past it. But a lot of people until all the time, until Obama and Trump ran, a lot of people weren't interested in politics, honestly. So a lot of people that are in it now don't understand that it's politics, right? Politicians are going to be politics and play politics. Because people are such novice in the political world now, they're taking politics as real life and intertwining the two, when a lot of times it's just political games and they're being wrapped up in these political games and it becomes their reality. That is the most dangerous thing you could ever let happen, which is to basically let non-reality become your reality. So a lot of people have to wake up to that fact, and that's why critical thinking is so important. Before you say something, think something. Before you share something, research something. Know, or at least try to know what you're talking about in some of these instances, because if not, especially for the Republican Party, I fear that it's going to be a sad, sad day for this party that, won't be recovered from if we keep going down the quote unquote rabbit hole with certain things. And that's not to say that some of these things, aren't real, as she was just saying. I mean, we heard some of the facts from people like the president and his lawyers, how they had specific cases of voter fraud and more people voting than were actually eligible to actually do that. We understand these things, and there's processes that we have to continue to go through to try to correct some of these things.
And we need to really work on it. We need to look into it. Totally.
That's actually one of the things that I hope we can 100%. Accomplish with something like the New American Party, where we're looking up to set up actual voter integrity commissions within different states, within different towns, where people can actually learn how to go look at the voter rolls, and help with that process, and just make sure everything is on the up and up. And again, it's going to be a process. It's going to take a while to do these things, but with people, you have somebody right here with NJWT that has 30,000 members. You know, we're a very new group. We have 12,000. Just right there, we have almost over 40,000 people, and there's groups and there's organizations all over that we can start to strategically do certain things, set goals, set plans, and actually knock those goals down and start to actually accomplish things. Because if there's one thing I know, whether it's Priscilla, whether it's the people like Karen or other people we interact with, these are very goal-oriented people, especially the women. They're very efficient. They like to get things done, and they don't like to waste time. I love people like that. So I know we can do it, and I promise you, for at least our part, I know we got to get out of here soon, but we'll continue to build those things and, you know, get to that place. So please just give us some time, just be patient, and we'll continue to work on these things.
Okay, so I just want to say a couple things quick. I want to thank everybody in the groups. I want to thank all my friends, all my family, Darius, everybody for supporting me and helping me through a tough time. And I really, truly appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Everybody reaching out to me, thank you.
We love you.
And I really, truly wish that we could have more tolerance with each other and peace and love with each other. I don't like to see these big conglomerates destroying people, and I think that's what they're doing. I think we've turned a corner where they're making money, they're controlling, and they're hurting we the people. And that's what really upsets me. So, you know, I think we all need to look at ourselves, really look at ourselves and what we say to people, and try to stop and think about it and not be so angry and not shoot from the hip and not be so emotional, and try to be tolerant and allow people to have an opinion and not attack them, because not everybody should be blanketed in as a terrorist or as a bad person. Not anybody.
Yep.
Okay? So that's just one thing. And not buy into the cancel culture that's happening, which is another form of power that the media has thrown out and programmed Americans to do to each other. So we hurt each other financially. We hurt each other mentally. And we hurt each other physically. How is any of that good? It's not. So, for instance, Mike Lindell, instead of boycotting, do a boycott. Start buying
I like that
from him.
I like
Boycott,
that.
okay? Because he's a good person. He's done so much to support our group and is the kindest person I know. So to try to cancel him because of something he believes is despicable. So do a boycott for him instead of a boycott.
I like that.
Okay? Try to reach out to somebody that you might not agree with and say something positive to them for a change. Because politics is just one area. It has nothing to do with music, has nothing to do with love, has nothing to do with caring, has nothing to do with work, has nothing to do with your kids, you know, as far as what you might have in common with other people. So don't just categorize somebody by their politics. Where did we go? We used to never talk about politics, and we never talked about religion. There were certain things we used to not talk about because it was a respect thing.
It was sacrilegious too.
It was sacrilegious. It was a respect thing because you might have a difference of opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So now all of a sudden, we're the flip of the coin, and you're not allowed to have an opinion. You're not allowed to be religious.
Mm-hmm.
Or you have somebody who's not very religious telling a religious person that they're wrong because they're not religious because they supported Donald Trump. Stuff like that. Why don't we try to be nice to each other?
And I thought only God could judge anyway.
Right? And stop the judging. Exactly.
I thought only God could judge. Stop the craziness. Get back to being normal. And I love the way this conversation is going, because I think we're going to start driving this point home more. and not only speaking about it, but just showing it in our actions. So just look forward to 2021. I'm excited. Between all the great events New Jersey Women for Trump, I'm sure, is going to have planned up. And we have some cleanups coming up. We have some virtual forums with financial advisors and different things we want to do. So we're going to bring you guys a lot of different things, exclusive things, man, to just keep everybody encouraged and to keep everybody moving in a forward direction. And really, the theme going forward is going to be unity. And I know I said unity, faith, and love. And I know I said, before I wasn't going to talk about this, but I guess I will talk about this. Me and Priscilla have been talking about a lot of things for a long time, and certain things that we may do, certain things we may try to do, and certain things that we want to try and do. And, I do think it's right to let you guys know first, especially our not black, not white, American podcast audience. But as of, I haven't officially announced, but I've been working hard behind the scenes. I will officially and have officially thrown my hat into the ring to run for New Jersey's 12th district congressional seat against Miss Bonnie Watson Coleman. Yay. So we have a lot of stuff coming up. The website, it's not even done yet, but I'll give you the address because you can start to donate now. There is some pertinent information on there, and there's going to be more added. So you can actually go to www.dariusmayfieldforamerica.com. You see the donate button on there. You can donate to the campaign. Just remember, you can't give more than $2,800 in either election. So this is the primaries right now, which they'll have the primary in June for the Republican and Democratic Party. And the actual election will be next November during the midterms. I'm very excited. I want to start to put my money where our mouths are and actually get out there and just keep leading by example and showing people that in this great country, you really can do whatever it is you want. So I'm super excited. Behind the scenes, I have some really amazing, even big people lining up behind me doing certain things. So for these last couple of weeks, we've definitely been really, really, really busy working on that. But I agree with Priscilla, and I wanted to make sure you guys on our podcast were the first to know about that, even before I make the official announcements, which will probably be next week sometimes. I want you guys to know so, you guys can start getting behind all these movements now, because we're not stopping, man. We're not stopping. We're coming. We're already registered. The committee is named Darius Mayfield for America. We've already been on the FEC site learning everything. So we're coming. We're coming, bro. This is not a game.
And everybody else, please, if you're interested in running for any local government, let me know. Message me. We have a whole group that's working on that as well. So there's plenty of seats open. There's different positions open in different districts and different towns. You need to run locally. If you are concerned about this country, you're concerned about your state, you're concerned, we got to start at the bottom. You got to work it, and there's plenty of opportunity.
And so
that's
you guys
what we
know,
need to do.
And let's be very clear. And she's actually right. All politics start local. So forget just governors and presidents. We need school boards. We need councilmen and councilwomen, all that stuff. And we're going to be doing all that stuff with you guys. But I will be running as a new American Party Republican. Registered Republican, but I will be running under the banner of the New American Party, and I'm happy for them to be able to endorse me, and I'm happy to be running as a Republican and have the opportunity to work with the GOP to start to rebuild New Jersey grassroots organizations. And again, I love everybody. I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican, Independent. In fact, we will be starting a committee, Democrats for Darius. Like we're gonna do some stuff, man. We got a lot of exciting stuff planned, and I want to let you guys know, just myself and my family. I am originally from Middlesex County, New Jersey, which is in this district. My district, District 12, goes from Trenton up to Hackensack, New Jersey, covers Plainfield, South Brunswick. I went to school in South Brunswick. I was born at St. Peter's Hospital in New Brunswick, New Jersey. I lived in North Brunswick. I've lived in Edison. So a lot of these cities in this actual district, we have a lot of name recognition. I've lived in a lot of these states. My grandmother and grandfather had 15 kids. I got over 50, 60 first cousins, and the majority of them are from right here in Middlesex County, New Jersey. So when I tell you we're about to do something special, we have a lot of of name recognition in this state, and me and my family, we've been working for this state for free for a long time, just encouraging people, progressing everything from my cousin Imamu Mayfield, who's the former IBF cruiserweight and heavyweight champion of the world, also the pride of New Brunswick. So we're going to do some fun stuff, man. And I got some great people behind me, and we have some great things coming up, man. And we're really just going to continue being the change we want to see. And just remember, a vote for Darius is a vote for America. You know, my political, yeah, you like that?
Okay, and I have one
Let's
more
do it,
shout
baby.
out. I have one more shout out because I really, really, this is important to me. My husband being a Navy veteran.
That.
Okay, so we know that the National Guard was in D.C. and they're sleeping now on the cement in the basement somewhere, right? In a parking lot or a basement or whatever you want to. They're not, they're not being taken care of properly the way I feel they should be taken care of. And I just want to shout out to Mikhail at the Trump Hotel, Trump International in D.C. Wonderful man who runs the hotel, manager of the hotel. Mikhail, thank you so much for taking in our men, our police, and our military. And I believe 45, right? 45. President mentioned that too, that they're welcome there. But Mikhail, you're awesome. You are awesome. And thank you so much because it's near and dear to my heart. And I've been going to this hotel for a very long time. And like I said it on Facebook tonight, that this is nothing new. This hotel has been caring for the police since the riots in June, when all the police were brought in because these riots were breaking out, and it was anti-police at that time. If you remember, this man, let them come in, and they can use the bathroom, the restrooms, clean up. They have coffee, they have food. They're taken care of there. And the reason why it's so important to understand is because majority of the other hotels wouldn't do that. You know why? Because they were afraid of the cancel culture. They were afraid that people would start hurting their businesses and coming in and burning their businesses down, burning their hotels down. So I just want to say thank you so much. It's been happening, and it's some of the things that I've seen on the inside that I know for a fact and seen with my own eyes. And I respect it. And I respect you, Mikhail. You're awesome. Thank you. And thank you for our military for always sacrificing their
Law
lives
enforcement,
for this
military,
country and
everybody.
military and everybody. Thank you.
We appreciate you guys. We really do.
That's why I'm wearing this hat, if you can say, from
We Back Blue.
Trump Hotel.
Absolutely.
Hotel hat.
Trump Hotel, baby. And, Mr. President, we just want to
Which one?
Say the real Mr. President, we just want to say we appreciate you. Congratulations on an incredible 4 years. And, I personally just want to thank you for encouraging us all and just showing us that anything is really still possible. I don't care if you supported the president or not, but if you have any type of critical thinking skills, one thing we can all agree on is that man really did show us that anything is still possible in this great nation, coming from no political experience to, for the first time ever, running and winning as the president of the United States. And that's why everybody got so mad, because he disrupted the order. Nobody saw that coming. Nobody expected it. They'll never tell you that. They never expected it. And that's why he caused so much chaos. But you showed us that anything is still possible. And as long as you're doing the right thing and you have your heart in it, the people will support you. So we appreciate you. We appreciate you and your wife, Melania. And, we thank you guys for what you've done. And we thank you most importantly for lighting the fire, because I think that fire that you lit is not going to extinguish anytime soon. And that's what motivates me to not only run for something like a congressional seat, but I see so many other people about to start running, so many other people just getting organized and activated, and that's all because of you. So we appreciate that, and we will continue the fight, and we will continue to make this country proud as we stand on our principles, and we just try to get back to normalcy and just put some regular everyday Americans in these offices, whether they be local, state, or federal, and get back to the business of this country and the great republic that it actually is, man. And we appreciate you.
If you don't like what you're seeing, do what you can do to change.
Move to China.
Listen to Scott Pressler. Scott Pressler worked his tail off. He gets out there and he does this and he travels and he comes up with a new plan and a new idea and works with it.
Oh.
You can't just sit back and be in your little bubble with your family and everything's all happy and nice and okay and then complain.
Exactly.
And complain.
Speaking of Scott, I just talked to him the other day. And I'm looking forward, especially this spring and this summer, bringing voter registration events out here, having him out here to campaign with me and get this thing going.
Doing all kinds of stuff.
There's going to be a lot going on.
Yes.
So Democrats, I hope you're ready.
And our cleanups too.
Yep. Oh, what we're going to do, the cleanups, we're going to do Atlantic City, Camden. And then we're going to obviously try to stay in this district with the Trentons and the Plainfields. But we're going to be doing cleanups all over this state. And, I want to say good luck to my opponent, my opponent, Bonnie Watson Coleman. And, I just want you to get well. We do know she was stricken with COVID, and we do wish you a speedy recovery. And I understand some of the concerns that may, be around your particular experience, but I do wish you a speedy recovery. And I look forward to seeing you on the trail. It's going to be fun, man. And it's all out of love. I have no hate even for you, Miss Bonnie. There is no hate, man. I just, again, love this great country, love this great state. I'm actually from this district in multiple different municipalities within this district. So this is important to me. This is serious to me. And I just want to come back and make District 12 great again. So let's do it.
Okay. And I also want to throw out there a little prayer for President Biden. You say you want to unite, so think about the entire country. It's not just half who voted technically for you. There's another half of the country. And, please keep that in mind and stay healthy. And I hope you listen to yourself and in some of your past things you thought that you're changing now on, don't be controlled by the far left.
Yeah.
Don't be controlled by the far left. And I hope.
And don't be controlled by the far right either.
And don't be controlled by the far right. But
come back to the middle.
Don't be controlled by the far left and please respect our military.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just want to say that, I have my own feelings about it, but I have to be a good, I don't know. I just have to say that. So that's it. And Darius, I want to ask you one question. Because I thought it'd be fun if we asked each other a question that you don't know and I don't know. You want to do it quick or no? Real quick?
Sure.
Okay. So here's my question for you. You ready?
Yep.
Okay. Lightning round.
This should be interesting.
Right.
I think she's trying to set me up right now, but let's
Maybe
go.
I'll ask you a two-part question so I can throw two in there. But okay. And this is from a friend of mine. If and to what cause our new president, Joe Biden, do you think, will he be donating his salary to any cause or will he not be? And if he is, to what cause?
Probably not. They're more like new money. So he probably just wants to keep as much as he can still. We know he got contracts out of different countries and stuff, but he's new money. So he wants to just keep as much. Trump is like a little bit old money. So, for him, giving his salary away was nothing. Like, here, I just want to help people.
Well, he had a lot of money and he still does.
Yeah. And he's just like, I want to help people.
But he also he wanted to help people. Yeah.
Absolutely. But Joe Biden, he's
got a lot of money.
But he's still new money. He's still in the phase where he just wants to just get it. He ain't donating nothing. You haven't even heard him talk about it. If he was going to do it, he probably would have talked about it by now.
Yeah.
He probably would have said that on the campaign trail.
Yeah.
He probably would have said something. Enough people have asked about it.
If I recall, 45 said it right before he got in.
He ain't giving up that salary.
He won, but he wasn't in yet. It was in that transition.
No, he's taking that salary and putting it in his grandkids' bank accounts.
Okay. All right, one more question real quick.
Sure. We got to get out of here, but let's go.
Are you going to take the vaccine?
No. No, I'm not.
Okay.
Actually,
you don't have to go into it. We can talk about it the next time.
All
We'll
right, let's
talk
talk
about
about
the
it
next
next
time.
time. All right. So, guys, listen, I just want to follow one thing. I never gave you the website. If you want to go see about the New American Party, go to www.wetheamericanparty.com. Also, for all the stuff that we're doing with Not Black, Not White American, you can go to notblacknotwhiteamerican.com. And again, this episode will be on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, and a bunch of other places on Sunday at 8 p.m. And if you want to go to those sites, you can either look them up on those sites, or you can go to notblacknotwhiteamerican.com, and then we'll have the icons for those different sites right there on the site, and you can click into Spotify or wherever you want to go, and you like to see it.
And remember, New Jersey Women for Trump, or
Yes.
NJWT.
Yep.
Or myself.
Let's go.
We're all here for you.
Guys, we got a lot of stuff coming up, but a vote for Darius is a vote for America. And remember, not black, not white, American.
God bless. Peace and love, everybody.
We love you. We do.
We the people.